somebody tell me what this is the ruins of?
Where do you know for sure? I thought it was just a sacred city.
I don't think anyone knows for sure.
And people come here because it's like South America. It's such huge slabs of rock, and they were quarried 25 miles away.
Yeah, but where the rock come from? This island?
No, it's just 25 miles.
Where does the rock
Right, that's on that's
Still would be mad when you stop. You look at this up here.
I wonder how they moved all this stuff.
Different stories about it, and I will try to look at where the man is, because he's also he's trying to get more of his.
This is a research person you're looking for who's actually here studying it.
Yes.
And thinking about it.
Stop here before we go to death, huh?
Alright.
Alright. Traditions and customs and stories have been passed down from generation to generation about the ruins and events that took place here. So we have a fairly nice record from oral history about what went on here. And I think one of the problems that, as an archaeologist, that I see is trying to verify these stories through archaeological means, and as well as getting other kinds of information that the oral histories don't relate. Like we're interested in the size of the islets and precisely dating them as precise as archaeological techniques allow. Finding out where they quarried the stone. All of this stone was brought from the main island of Pohnpei. It does not come from around here. And let's see, a piece of stone like this would weigh probably between 1 and 2 tons. This one would weigh over 2 tons, I'm sure. So it's really they went to a lot of effort to build these islets. And of course, not all of them are as elaborate as this, but there are some that are almost as elaborate. So inside the burial vaults, we have records of lots and lots of artifacts being found. There's nothing in there now, but I think several thousand artifacts anyway. And these were mostly shell adzes, shell bracelets. Some apparently were quite intricately carved, and other kinds of shell artifacts.
Did you say the date of this?
We do have some radiocarbon dates. There's another islet, and maybe if Lewis takes you on through the ruins, you'll see Utet. You know which one Utet is, where there's a large mound. So the Smithsonian Institution did an excavation there in 1963, and they obtained some radiocarbon dates. And at the base of that mound, there was a radiocarbon date of about 1200 AD. And this is when I feel that mound is associated with a special ceremony for the holy eel, the Nan Madol eel. And there's a little hole in the middle of the islet where the eel came up, and they gave the eel a ceremonial propitiation of, it's said to be turtle, where they prepared turtles there. And the mound is a result of stone ovens that were built to cook the turtle. And the stone ovens were built one on top of another, and gradually had this really large refuse pile. And so this ceremony seems to have begun about AD 1200. And this is when I think that the Sadalord dynasty, if you want to call it that, must have congealed or came into being, and the megalithic architecture got underway. We could say anywhere between 1000 and 1200. I can't be that precise, but probably, well, definitely by 1200, things were well underway here at Nan Madol in building the islets and bringing in the large stones. And one of the things I'm doing right now is re-excavating that mound.
This is Nan Madol.
Very well said, Louis.
It's mostly underwater, but that's one of the reasons why I think we've been having geological subsidence since people started living here. That now the islets are covered with water. I don't think that's the way they would have been made originally. We found recently, last year, the very earliest deposits, archaeological deposits, are well underwater, permanently underwater. And that's about 200, AD 200 that we go back to.
That looks...
So, this is Painering. The story is that they made coconut oil here to anoint the bodies of the deceased.
How do you know they made coconut oil here?
Well, this is the story from the oral history.
Oh, I see.
We don't know just from physical remains. There are several tombs in there. There is a place where you can see where they've made a fire to heat rocks, and with the hot rocks they put them in a bowl with the coconut cream, and this made the oil come out of the coconut cream. Last week I did find a human bone in the burial. What we've been told was the burial plot, so now I'm sure that there were internments.
Oh, how exciting. Have you found many?
No, because we've done little excavation, very little excavation, but I will do an excavation there later on. Yeah, why don't you go down here, unless you're in just too big of a hurry.
How big is Nan Madol? You don't ever want to
It's about 80 hectares. It's about a mile this way by a half mile this way, and I live right down there.
You live in Nan Madol then?
Yeah, just on the edge of Nan Madol. Yeah. I just wanted to show you, this is where I've been expending a lot of sweat and energy.
Is that what all those flags are?
Those are artifacts.
Sweat and energy flags?
Yeah,
they each mark a...
Artifacts.
Is that the oven you were talking about?
No, we can go down. It's right down there. But I didn't really mean to stop here, Louis.
Good.
What do you want to go?
Well, just maybe you could just go to Etet and turn around and come back.
Okay.
Louis, look at that back there. That's probably the biggest nos on Ponape.
Biggest
See, I never seen that.
It's a meeting house. It's a U-shaped meeting house.
You have been doing some
Looks
clearing.
like yam
Look at
over
this.
there. Somebody planting yams? No?
No,
Oh.
We've cleared all of this. I didn't even know that that was a nos
What do you
before
call
we
this
started
one?
clearing.
Really?
This is Usinam. And this is a large platform, and there are two other large platforms over there. And in the foreground here, you can't see it too well, but that's probably a burial area.
Well, who knows what you're going to find?
Well, that's true. We've made some interesting finds just in the month we've been here, things we didn't really suspect.
It's been thick like this for ages.
Mm-hmm.
Literally.
Well, it's funny, this has been known for so long, but very little systematic work has ever been done.
What's thick in there already? Look at
This
that.
is called Tay Top, and this is one of the biggest islets.
Big rocks.
This wall here is 115 meters long, and there's a pool inside where they used to keep turtles in preparation for the ceremony that they had on the tent. This is the tent over here, where they had the turtle ceremony.
Imagine having this your one right over here. Yeah.
This way you live?
That's my tent. But that's the mound from the stone oven we've been finding, and we've been collecting charcoal samples in each layer, so we'll be able to date precisely when they stopped making the ovens. This is like, you can see there's right there's a dark layer on top.
Yeah,
that's all humus that's accumulated since the last time that this mound was used. I mean, that's just natural accumulated soil. And that first light area is where you first start getting the burned coral rock. So we want to date. I'm really interested in getting a date from as high up in the profile as possible, so we can date when they terminated using the or making the ooms on this islet. And I'm really interested because I think that'll tell us, that may indicate when Nan Madol was abandoned or when the Saudelur dynasty collapsed. And then, of course, when we get down at the base, I'm interested in finding out when this first began, to find out when, at least I think it will tell us when the Saudelur dynasty got going in the full sense of what we see here. If you're interested in reading about Nan Madol, I have an article in the December issue of Natural History magazine.
That'd be nice, yeah.
So you could look that up this last December.
Smart branches, Gary.
I see him.
That's what you call a jungle set. Isn't that fabulous? Bye, Steve. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Okay.